looking at different problems and really working together as a group to problem solve it so that we can find that power within ourselves to make changes when the world seems out of control. We do have some semblance of control, especially over ourselves and how we interact with it. And transition, we're constantly in a state of transition, and so it's really important for us to take control over our area of transition and really tend it as if it were our garden, as if it is our lives, and as we move forward, promoting the culture that we believe in and that we'd like to spread. Next slide, please. Spiritual and health, and well-being, breastfeeding, tending to children, and one of the fundamental things is that we take care of our children. If we don't, we know what happens. People don't go to school, people get bored, people get in trouble. And there are plenty of ways to show them how to engage in the world in a positive way. And Deanna Lopez can tell you a little bit more about that a little bit later. Also, complementary and holistic medicine. There are many things out there, as Dottie said, beneficial plants and beneficial resources that we have not necessarily tapped into in allopathic methods, traditional Western medicine, but that we can learn from and we can integrate so that we can have a healthier lifestyle. Next slide, please. And this is a whole list of resources of finances and economics. One of the things I wanted to point out is WWOOFing, Willing Workers on Organic Farms. It's a program that's really hugely popular in New Zealand and Australia. However, you can WWOOF all over the world, and it's one of the ways that people can exchange services for learning at the same time. You go to an organic farm, you work for anywhere from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, depending on what your time allows, and it's just an exciting time to learn about, to gain a lesson yourself as far as work and a work ethic and farming and gardening and animal husbandry, as well as like just bringing that all back together in terms of just understanding where food comes from and understanding where you fit in that role. So that's one of the different things you can do. An easy, simple step we can do right now is carpooling, ride sharing, car sharing. In a lot of the bigger cities, there are little zip cars, little electric cars that you can, rent for a couple of hours while you go get your groceries. And these types of opportunities are the things that we can capitalize on in our communities. Maybe we don't have zip cars, but I know I have a car and I'll pick somebody up and we'll go and do whatever we need to do. So, taking that initiative is something that we can do to create a more sustainable society. Next slide, please. And land tenure and community governance. This is just about taking the power back into our own hands in terms of cooperatives and body corporates that will help us in terms of managing our assets, resources of people and things and plants and animals. These are all things that we can take ownership for and manage in a positive way. Also, there have been several projects of co-housing and eco-villages all over the world, and those opportunities, I think I can speak a little bit more about that, can be a great learning experience in terms of bringing people together of like minds, as well as people together who maybe aren't of like minds, and really understanding, the differences in the communities that can build out of that. Open space, consensus decision making, allowing people to have their own voice and express their own voice in the decision-making process is very important. And also allowing the native peoples of the planet to take control over the lands that have been theirs for many, many generations. Scotty, did you have anything to add to that?
Sure.
Yeah,
touching on the eco-villages and the co-housing, it's a growing movement of people who are like-minded, who are interested in living sustainably and would like to live sustainably in their cultures. So oftentimes they get together and they develop a community with community bylaws. each one is different. Generally speaking, a lot of the communities make decisions based on consensus. So everybody has to have an equal part and be able to make decisions that affect the communities. So that's something that you'll probably be seeing a lot more of it because it's people that want to live light on the earth and also have that sense of community. So.
But in terms of simple steps, there are lots of simple steps that we can do on a daily basis. For example, when I moved to San Antonio, I started a group of people who were interested in community gardens. And so now I have a group of people who are interested in community gardens. There's 19 across San Antonio. They go and help out, on Saturdays to work on them. Just to learn more about gardening ourselves, learning about how to grow food for ourselves, and taking back the responsibility of food production for my little plot and my friend's little plot and the community's little plots, because all these community gardens are all over the place and they're doing great things. But this is the last slide. So.
Right. Okay. So does anyone have any questions? I know we went through it kind of fast. I didn't want to take too much of your time, but if you have any questions or anything, yes.
I'd like to hear about your design class that you're doing and your other workshops that you're having.
Yes, the 24-week design class, a permaculture design course, is really designed to be a very intensive course. Normally, you're required about 72 hours in order to get your design certification, but I want to provide people with more hands-on application of their skills in order to get their design certification. So it's a very intense course. In the meantime, I'm having workshops. So the workshops are actually very specialized workshops. Coming up pretty soon, we're having a workshop on how to build a solar panel for less than $100. So you come to this workshop, we'll build a solar panel right there with you in the workshop, and it'll cost less than $100 for a 180-watt solar panels. So that's something that I think the community, definitely could benefit from, because instead of having to get one of these nuclear power plants installed, why don't everyone just get a solar panel and add that to your repertoire? Generally, when you look them up online, they cost about $2,500, but if you could build one for less than $100, so that's going to be a fun workshop. The medicinal herbs, that's another one. When looking at permaculture and you're growing herbs around your house, grow something that's going to be beneficial to you based on your health needs. Like if you have high blood pressure, grow some garlic or some various other medicinal herbs that are great for those particular needs. So that's another good course that's coming up very soon. Rainwater catchment. We'll look at how to develop rainwater catchment for the rainy seasons that we get, store water for the drought season. Yes, sir.
Yeah, can we pick and choose one of these workshops?
Yes, they're all flexible, so you can pick and choose.
Where do we get a list of these?
I'm sorry?
Where can we get a list of these?
Oh, they're on my website. It's permaliving.com. Yeah, sort of like permaculture. Yes,
The other one I want to ask you about, right across the recently, I think it's in Watson Wick.
Okay.
You know what that is?
No, sure.
Well, yeah, I thought it was a permaculture thing where it's a kind of a flush commode and the water goes into this bin of pumice.
Okay.
And if the water's still seeking down, it wicks out on the side. You got all that vegetation.
Oh, okay. So it creates like beaches. Those are a number of different techniques.
What's the
That's PERMA, perma living. Yes, perma living. Yes.
Are you also doing movie nights, I thought?
Yes, I'll be having movie nights every Wednesday night starting in September over at the local libraries. And